If your two-handed backhand feels weak, inconsistent, or uncomfortable, the problem might not be your swing itself. It might be one of a few common mistakes you are making before you even hit the ball. Welcome back to the most common tennis mistakes, the series where we break down the technical mistakes that are holding amateur tennis players back and show you exactly how to fix them. In today's episode, we're focusing on one of the most important and reliable shots in modern tennis, the two-handed backhand. We're going to look at the most common technical mistakes amateur players make, from preparation and spacing to racket position, body rotation, contact point, and the role of your non-dominant arm. And trust me, some of these mistakes may look like small details, but they can make a huge difference in the amount of power, control, stability, and consistency you can generate. So, if you want a more solid, powerful, and reliable two-handed backhand, make sure you watch this video until the end. And if you're new here, my name is Thiago, and this is Next Level Tennis, tennis that actually works. And if you want to keep improving your game with practical, technical tennis instruction, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode of the most common tennis mistakes. Alright, let's get into it. One of the most common mistakes we see among amateur tennis players is either skipping the split step altogether or performing it at the wrong time. Fortunately, in the example I'm showing you here, the amateur player is actually doing a great job with his split step. When we compare the timing of the split step from the amateur player on the left side of your screen with the Serbian professional Novak Djokovic on the right, we can see almost perfect synchronization. Both players are airborne at the exact moment their opponents make contact with the ball, and they land immediately after contact. This timing allows them to react to the incoming ball in a much more responsive and efficient way. Why? Because by the time their feet make contact with the ground, the ball has already traveled some distance. This gives them enough information to identify the direction of the incoming shot and immediately adjust their positioning toward the ball. So remember, the goal of the split step isn't simply jump. It's about being airborne when your opponent makes contact and landing at the right moment so you can react and move efficiently toward the next shot. The second common mistake we see in the two-handed backhand of amateur players is related to the racket position during the unit turn. First, let's focus on the amateur player. You can see that during this phase of the movement, he prepares his backhand with the racket relatively low, around waist level. Now, when we analyze Novak Djokovic's preparation, we can see that he performs his unit turn with the racket position much higher, around head level. So, what does this difference mean for those two players? If we had to choose one phrase to describe the advantage, it would be effortless power. By starting the two-handed backhand with a racket in a higher position, the player can accelerate the racket more efficiently because the initial phase of the forward swing begins with the racket drop. The Serbian player takes advantage of gravity, allowing the racket head to drop naturally and creating a much more efficient acceleration sequence. Instead of forcing the racket forward with your arms, you're allowing the racket to fall and build speed naturally before accelerating to the ball. So, whenever you begin the two-handed backhand preparation, try to keep the tip of the racket pointing upward, with your arms slightly flexed throughout this preparation phase. This simple adjustment can help you create a more efficient racket drop, more racket head speed, and ultimately more effortless power on your two-handed backhand. Before we move on, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about some of the service I offer here at Next Level Tennis. If you want to improve your technique, you can book a biomechanical stroke analysis. Simply send me a video of your stroke and I'll break down your technique in detail, comparing your movements side by side with that of a professional player and showing you exactly what you can improve. If you want to become a smarter player tactically, I also offer match strategy analysis. You can send me clips from your matches and we analyze your shot selection, positioning, decision making, and point construction, showing you better ways to attack, defend, and build your points. And if you're looking for a new racket but don't know which one is right for your game, I offer racket consultancy to help you choose the equipment that best matches your level, playing style, and goals. You can find all the information and contact details through the link in the video description and the pinned comment. And if you like to look good both on and off the court, make sure you check out the Next Level Tennis collection. Our t-shirts and hoodies were designed by tennis players for tennis players, combining comfort, style, and a passion for the game. So, if you want to represent Next Level Tennis on and off the court, check out the collection and get yours through the link below. The next tip I have for you is about one of the most common mistakes amateur players make, one that directly affects topspin production and consequently ball control. It all comes down to the racket face position during the racket drop. I'm sure most tennis players have heard the classic advice to swing from low to high in order to generate topspin. But when we look at the amateur player's two-handed backhand, we can see that he does create an upward swing path. However, if we pause the video at the moment of contact, we can see that the racket face is likely open with the strings pointing upward. This position makes it much harder for the strings to work on the correct angle and effectively grip and rotate the ball. Now, when we compare his technique with Djokovic, we can see a small but very important difference that you should copy. During the racket drop, slightly close the racket face, with the strings pointing diagonally toward the ground. This position helps you arrive at contact with the racket face properly aligned and facing forward. Combined with a low to high swing path, it allows the strings to brush up the back of the ball more efficiently, maximizing topspin and giving you greater control over your two-handed backhand. So remember, slightly closed racket face during the racket drop plus low to high swing path equal better topspin and more control. And now we've reached the final tip for those of you who want to understand and fix the most common mistakes amateur players make on the two-handed backhand. If you have made it this far and found these tips helpful, please take a second to hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this video with a tennis partner or friend who could benefit from it. It really helps the channel grow. So the final mistake I want to show you today has to do with the position of your dominant arm during the follow-through and finish. This incorrect position can compromise the ideal swing path of your two-handed backhand and also prevent you from fully transferring the rotational power generated by your trunk into the shot. Take a close look at this line draw across the shoulders of both players. Now, pay attention to how high the non-dominant hand travels and consequently how high each player's racket finishes. The amateur player's lower follow-through and finish limit the upward path of the racket. More importantly, the slow position of his right elbow restricts the efficient transfer of rotational energy from his trunk into the shot. So to fix this problem once and for all, copy the position of Serbian professional Novak Djokovic. As you finish your stroke, allow your right elbow to point toward the right side fence. Then finish in this classic and highly functional position with your chin over your left shoulder, your right elbow pointing toward the side of the court, and the racket finishing behind you, passing over your right shoulder. This position helps you complete the swing path naturally while allowing your trunk rotation to contribute more efficiently to the shot. So by correcting these common technical mistakes in your two-handed backhand, I'm confident you'll be able to take your game to the next level. And by the way, my name is Thiago and this is Next Level Tennis, tennis that actually works. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.